ने बताया। हमारी आज की एज तकरीबन 32 साल है, जो आगे आने वाले टाइम पे ये 26 चली जाएगी, से 7 साल में। In order to transform the armed forces into youthful, tech-savvy, modern, there is a need to harness the youth potential and make him a future-ready soldier. अग्निवीर इस फ्यूचर-रेडी सोल्जर का हिस्सा होगा। अग्निवीर भारत का युवा रक्षक होगा। हमारे साथ 4 साल रहने के बाद एक अग्निवीर रिज्यूमे और बायोडाटा बिल्कुल यूनिक होगा। He will stand out in the crowd with his attitude, tour, skills and the time he would have spent with us. इस स्कीम के कुछ एडवांटेजेस तो बहुत है, बट मैं सिर्फ कुछ इसके बारे में आपको बताऊंगा। पहली चीज ये बहुत ही ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव रिफॉर्म है। इसके अंदर आर्म्ड फोर्सेस की यूथफुल प्रोफाइल यंगर होगी, फिटर होगी, डाइवर्स होगी, दे विल बी मोर ट्रेनेबल एंड इन द चेंजिंग टाइम्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी absorption they will be ready because they will be more adept to take this technology in their stride. There will be an optimal balance of youth and experience, that is million of जोश and होश। Coming to अग्निवीर्स, एक सुनहरा मौका देश की सेवा करने का through the armed forces. They will imbibe camaraderie, team building, mental robustness, physically fit, forged under fire like the best steel. Over the years will result in a confident and better individual. There's a very good financial package for which the details I will tell you slightly later. As far as the nation is concerned, there will be availability of disciplined and skilled youth with military ethos and for the civil society, which will add to the nation building. ये काम करने से पहले हमने कुछ जो वर्ल्ड की अलग-अलग कंट्रीज हैं उनकी स्टडी करी। उसके अंदर हमने ये देखा कि सिर्फ जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं उनको आपके सामने मैं पेश कर रहा हूँ। पहला, वॉलंटियर सिस्टम है ज़्यादातर देशों में। इनरोलमेंट की जो सिस्टम है वो मल्टीपल एंट्रीज हैं, एक रेगुलर, दूसरा कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल, तीसरा कॉन्स्क्रिप्ट। इनरोलमेंट एजेस 17 ईयर्स एंड अबव। ट्रेनिंग ड्यूरेशन 10 हफ्ते से लेके 6 महीने तक। All the countries have tried to incentivize the soldiers oblique Agniveers, which they have, on exiting. How? By giving them higher education credits, by giving them a good financial package, by assuring or trying to give them a lateral absorption to various places like civil and defense industries. Also, there are bridging courses which are being given on exit. However, Indian problems require Indian solutions. None of these countries have the demographic dividend which we are blessed with. You all know that we have, by 2030, about 140 crore people would be there. 50% of them will be below 25 years. This demographic dividend needs to be reflective in the armed forces. Youthful profile, as the Raksha Mantri just spoke of, Yuva is known by Josh, Jazba, Junoon. This, when led by good leadership, will result in higher risk-taking capability, which is part of our lexicon and DNA. एक युवा भारग्रस्त नहीं होगा. He'll be more available because he is younger. He will be fitter and more healthier, and his time on target with us will be more. Based on broad basing the recruitment, we shall endeavor to select the best. The present age, as I told you, 32 years, 6 to 7 years, we should be down to 24 to 26. Now let us see how the model looks like. Model is based on all India merit-based selection process. We are looking at the best to serve the armed forces between the ages of 17 and a half to 21 years. Once selected, Agniveers will serve for 4 years with us. On completion of 4 years, Agniveers will get an opportunity to apply voluntarily for regular cadre. Based on merit, organization requirement, up to 25% shall be selected from that batch. And for that, we are developing a robust assessment system which will be transparent, objective, automated and centrally maintained. So every Agniveer will receive who is selected, who is not, but Agniveers can apply for being retained. Now let us see the terms and conditions which have been specially made for this Agnipath scheme. Recruitments will be part of the Agnipath scheme, open to men, and progressively, based on the service requirement, will be open to women. As far as the medical and physical fitness standards are concerned, they will be as per extent norms. Educational qualifications is 10th and 12th, which are the terms and conditions based on the service requirement. System is being put in place that every 10th class student who joins us we will try and give him a 12th class certificate by the time he leaves us. There is a very unique package created specially for the Agniveers by the Ministry of Defence and Ministry of Finance, which is called the Sevanidhi package. And just to explain you a little, every Agniveer who joins, like me, for the first year, he gets 30,000 to start with, out of which 30% he'll contribute towards his own package, which works out to about 9,000. The government is going to put another 9,000 towards this. It works out to about 18,000. Over this, there will be about the standard EPF/PPF provisions, which works out. All that in the first year works out to about 4.76 lakhs in his first year. As he goes along, growing with us, he will be finishing at about 40,000 in his fourth year. That works out to about 6.92 lakhs in his fourth year. Besides that, risk and hardship and other allowances as applicable to the people sitting on your left in uniform, the same is applicable to him. The main thing, everything is income tax exempt. After the end of 4 years, Agniveer can volunteer for regular service or an entrepreneur based on the foundation of this package. This is what he's getting when he's exiting. This is not his pay. This is what he will save and get. Out of this, his own money is 5.02 lakhs. Rest is the government/interest component. देश की रक्षा करते वक्त अगर किसी अग्निवीर ने सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया तो वो डिसेबल हुआ, उसके लिए प्रावधान स्कीम में करा गया है. There is a non-contributory insurance being kept for every Agniveer, which will work out to about 1 crore. Plus, he will get his full pay for the unserved portion. Just in case he gets disabled anytime during his 4-year tenure, we have made schemes for that also. Of course, along with this, there will be full pay for the unserved portion and Sevanidhi package as on date with interest. ये स्कीम यहाँ खत्म नहीं होती. We will be endeavoring to raise the technical threshold by getting recruitment done through the ITIs. Impetus will be given to self-employment and entrepreneurship. Focus for in-service skilling, skill certificate, tailor-made bridging courses are being designed for them. The first rally of the Agniveers will start 90 days from today. This is indeed a transformational scheme aimed to empower the armed forces. It is an opportunity for all of us to embrace new concepts, collaborate to enhance our war-fighting capability using whole of the government approach, जिसमें सभी की भागीदारी हो. अब मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा एयर चीफ मार्शल VR चौधरी को कि वो अपने विचार आपके साथ शेयर करें. जय हिंद.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The armed forces of this nation are the first responders to any external threat, standing firm on the ground, in the air, or on the sea. The primary source of strength are the personnel who man the machines of war, and the Agnipath scheme would give all eligible citizens an opportunity to join the armed forces as Agniveers. The Agniveers who will form a part of the Indian Air Force are going to be an inherent component of an organization that prides itself on its core values of mission, integrity, and excellence. These core values equip our men and women with the knowledge, ethos, and pride to render service to the nation, and forms the bedrock on which professional attitudes and beliefs that characterize an air warrior are formed. Agniveers, by virtue of the tailored training that will be accorded to them, combined with a robust and resilient unit ethos and work culture, will imbibe these very values. The youth of the country today have an education and skills that allows them to adapt quickly to fast-changing technology-based environment. They are adept at understanding and using technology and are aligned to the future needs. The Indian Air Force is looking to tap into this source of dynamic young people, train and expose them to high technology environment of the Indian Air Force, and hone their skills for future employment. The new scheme therefore gives the Air Force an opportunity to draw from the vast pool of talent available in the country so that they can serve in the nation's armed forces with pride. A short tenure in the Air Force will facilitate military training and inculcate amongst them qualities of leadership, patriotism, determination, discipline, maturity, courage, camaraderie, orderliness, and a sense of time management. The scheme also allows the Air Force to assess both the attitude and the aptitude of the young people who join as Agniveers and prepare them for further specialized training in aviation and non-aviation skills required by the Air Force should they opt to join as regular air warriors. This will not only contribute effectively in upskilling of the youth of the country, but it also ensures right training at the right time is imparted. Lastly, the Indian Air Force shall be imparting a wide range of training and exposure to the Agniveers in aviation, weapons, and sophisticated ground systems. Agniveers who rejoin civil society will be job ready to be absorbed by a variety of employers. Armed with skills that they have learned in the Air Force, it is these Agniveers who will carry their training, discipline, and experience to our indigenous industry also. This therefore emerges as a win-win situation, with the Air Force benefiting from both the Agniveers who have many options after 4 years and those who will be joining the Air Force as permanent service members. I invite the aspiring youth of India to seize this unique opportunity to serve the nation and touch the sky with glory. Jai Hind.
Admiral Hari Kumar.
नमस्कार देवियों सज्जनों, आप सबने अग्निवीर और अग्निपथ के बारे में अभी तक सुना है। मैं इसके डिटेल्स में ना जाते हुए इस विषय पर अपने और नौसेना के विचार आपके सामने रखूंगा। सबसे पहले मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूं कि अग्निपथ स्कीम एक नए दौर की नई सोच है, एक आइडिया जो मेड इन इंडिया एंड मेक फॉर इंडिया है, एक आइडिया जो आर्म फोर्सेस के ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज मैनेजमेंट को पॉजिटिवली इम्पैक्ट करेगा, एक आइडिया जो युवाओं के एस्पिरेशंस और आर्म फोर्सेस की फ्यूचर रिक्वायरमेंट्स में बैलेंस लाएगा, एक आइडिया जो कारगिल कमेटी रिपोर्ट के अनुसार आर्म फोर्सेस के प्रोफाइल को और यूथफुल बनाएगा। और अगर हम फ्यूचर की सोचें तो एक ऐसा आइडिया जो देश की युवा पीढ़ी को सक्षम, समृद्ध और सशक्त बनाकर पूरे देश में बदलाव लाने की क्षमता रखता है। हम सब जानते हैं कि वर्तमान और भविष्य के चैलेंजेस कंटिन्यूसली इवॉल्व हो रहे हैं और इन चैलेंजेस को एडिक्वेटली एड्रेस करने के लिए ये ज़रूरी है कि हम लेसन्स लर्न्ड और बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस के साथ साथ हमारे आउटलुक और क्षमता में परिवर्तन लाएं। In navigating the turbulent tides of competition and conflict across the world, we cannot afford to merely continue along the beaten path. Doing more of the same is no more an option. इसीलिए आने वाले कल की लड़ाई के लिए विचारधारा में भी परिवर्तन जरूरी है। As far as the Navy is concerned, the Agniveers will provide a steady and continuous infusion of unbridled vitality, enthusiasm and new age abilities of youth. एक तरफ ये हमारी आर्म फोर्सेस के टैलेंट पूल को विस्तार करेगा, साथ ही साथ ये हमारे युवाओं को गर्व से मिलिट्री यूनिफॉर्म पहनने का आकर्षक ऑप्शन भी देगा। इंडियन नेवी अग्निवीरों को अपने स्टेट ऑफ द आर्ट वॉरशिप्स, सबमरीन्स, एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर, military aircraft, other combat platforms and units, our latest weapons, sensors, communication systems, IT systems, networks वगैरह में काम करने का यूनिक अनुभव प्रदान करेगी. This experience will hold them in good stead for the rest of their lives while also contributing to society and community development. On completion of 4 years of uniformed service, they will be a vital element in India's growth story, contributing to nation building through grooming, skilling, and inspiring our future generations, while instilling and reinforcing a greater sense of nationalism and patriotism. Therefore, the Agnipath initiative and the Agniveers that it will produce will play a pivotal role in enhancing the effectiveness and efficiency of the Navy and the country as both grow and rise to the challenges. Having been part of the initial planning team over 2 years back, I can assure you that the initiative has been extensively deliberated and examined threadbare by all stakeholders. The outcomes of these deliberations have only reaffirmed my conviction that this step will be truly transformational. Moreover, it will lead to a fine balance of the wisdom of experience and the exuberance of youth. मैं इस बात पर जोर देना चाहूँगा कि इस नए सिस्टम की ओर सुचारू परिवर्तन के लिए सभी योजनाएं प्लान की जा चुकी हैं और ध्यान दें, नौसेना की अग्निवीर स्कीम में महिलाएं भी शामिल होंगी. मेरा मानना है कि अग्निपथ एक विजनरी मूव है जो कि हमारी नौसेना का मल्टीपल डायमेंशंस में बदलाव करेगा. I think of the concept of Agnipath through the prism of my own experience of 4 decades in uniform. One of the key lessons that I have learned in the Navy is that if one does not continuously adapt to the changes in tides and currents, one will most definitely be set off course. The same applies to the armed forces as well in today's dynamic scenario. And in this regard, the Agnipath initiative is an essential step to ensure that we stay on course. अंत में ये बोलना चाहता हूं कि आर्म फोर्सेस का फंक्शनिंग सेवा परमो धर्म या सर्विस बिफोर सेल्फ के सिद्धांत पर आधारित है. अग्निपथ भारत की भविष्य की पीढ़ियों को इस मूल मंत्र के अंतर्गत सम्मान और संतोष से जीने का एक उत्तम अवसर प्रदान करेगा और हर काम देश के नाम की धारणा का पालन ही नहीं, उसका अनुभव भी करेगा. भारतीय नौसेना अग्निवीर को सीमलेसली अपनी टीम नेवी का हिस्सा बनाने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है. धन्यवाद. जय हिंद.
जनरल मनोज पांडे.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Agnipath scheme is a transformational reform for the Army and the nation and aims to bring a paradigm change in the human resource management of the Indian Army. The scheme, one of the most significant initiatives, aims to make the Army a future-ready fighting force capable of meeting multiple challenges across the full spectrum of conflict. इस योजना को सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ विस्तृत विचार विमर्श और चर्चा के बाद अंतिम रूप दिया गया है. This effort complements other ongoing initiatives to transform the Indian Army into a modern, technology-driven, Atmanirbhar and a battle-worthy force. Some of the notable benefits of the scheme from the Indian Army point of view are: firstly, an enhanced youth pool profile, as was mentioned earlier, that is reduction of average age from 32 to 26 to be achieved over a period of time. Secondly, increase in the technical threshold of the Army by recruiting Agniveers through ITIs and other technical institutes by harnessing their potential. The scheme, we believe, will attract young talent and motivated youth with the right skill sets to join the Army. It will also result in increased availability of medically and physically fit personnel at the cutting-edge level of field units. It will also ensure better utilization of recruit training period, resulting in enhanced availability of soldiers to the field army. It will also help us in maintaining an optimum balance between the youth and experience. A wider recruitment base will provide equal opportunities to youth from all parts of the country to join the army. The screening and selection, based on a sound, fair, transparent, and a robust assessment system, will ensure that the Army retains the best of the best for a longer serving duration, and these personnel will form the core of our organization. The Agniveer, leaving after 4 years, will be empowered with suitable skills and financial means and carry a unique resume, as was alluded to earlier, that will significantly enhance his value and employability in the civil society. The new process heralds a paradigm shift in our recruitment process and will necessitate changes in the way we impart training to our recruits and soldiers in enhancing their combat potential. मैं सभी को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि रिक्रूट्स के लिए लागू मिनिमम फिजिकल, मेडिकल और प्रोफेशनल पैरामीटर्स को सुनिश्चित करने के लिए हमारे द्वारा अपनाए गए मापदंडों पर कोई समझौता नहीं किया जाएगा. We will institute a fair, transparent and scientific method in screening the initial intake for 4 years and apply similar yardsticks to select those who will get enrolled. मैं इस बात पर भी जोर देना चाहता हूं कि थल सेना अपने गौरवशाली विरासत, इतिहास, परंपरा, सैनिक मूल्यों और संस्कृति, जो कि कोहेसिवनेस, कामरेडरी, एस्पिरिट डेकोर और नाम, नमक और निशान के मूलभूत सिद्धांतों पर आधारित है, को पूरी तरह बरकरार रखेगी. अग्निवीरों को आर्मी में हर तरह से एसिमिलेट और इंटीग्रेट किया जाएगा और वो यूनिट्स, हेडक्वार्टर्स और एस्टेब्लिशमेंट्स दोनों ऑपरेशनल और नॉन ऑपरेशनल एरियाज में भारतीय सेना के विभिन्न अंगों यानी कि अलग अलग आर्म्स और सर्विसेज में तैनात किए जाएंगे. I want to assure you that during the implementation and stabilization phase of the Agnipath scheme, the Army's operational capabilities and preparedness along the borders and the ability to deal with internal security challenges will be fully maintained. At the end, I wish to say that we are confident that this change will bring in new vigor and confidence in the Indian Army and make it stronger, more capable and in stride with the future. Jai Hind and thank you.
मित्रों, हमारे तीनों सर्विसेज के चीफ्स और हमारे एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी डीएमए जो प्रेजेंटेशन आपके सामने दिया है, मैं समझता हूँ थिंग्स आर क्रिस्टल क्लियर, चीजें पूरी तरह से साफ हैं. लेकिन फिर भी यदि कोई क्लैरिफिकेशन आप चाहते हैं तो हमारे तीनों सर्विसेज के चीफ्स आपके क्लैरिफिकेशन का जवाब देंगे.
So I'm Rahul Singh from Hindustan Times. My question is to the Army Chief. So this scheme has been at the center of an intense debate in the recent months, with a lot of people pointing out the advantages and the disadvantages. Now, one thing which a lot of veterans have pointed out is that this Agnipath scheme, or the All India All Class recruitment model, will strike at the very foundation of the regimentation system, which is time-tested and has worked very well for us. So do you see any kind of issues related to morale, cohesion, or discipline with the introduction of these schemes?
Right. Let me start by mentioning that Indian Army is largely all India, all class. Even today, 75% of our units already have an all India, all class composition. A limited number of units are based on class composition. Also, I must mention that the regimental system and class composition, though interlinked, are two different concepts. We need to understand that the basic aim of recruiting Agniveers on an all India, all class basis is to widen the recruitment base and provide equal opportunity to youth of the country, across the country, to serve the nation. Regimentation, I feel, is dealing from this endeavor. We will continue to draw strength from the bonds of esprit de corps and team spirit, which are generated through living, training, and fighting together, irrespective of the class or caste of the comrades in arms. I believe our regimental system will evolve with a greater national pan-India character. Gradually, the class-based character of certain units and regiment that have a fixed composition today is expected to evolve into an all-India, all-class structure in the future. The Indian Army has a rich history, tradition, military values and culture based on the principles of cohesive and camaraderie, and I believe this will not change. As I mentioned in my opening statement, the Agniveers will be fully assimilated and integrated into the organization, ready for deployment based on the operational requirements. Our organizational ethos and culture, we are convinced, will motivate the Agniveers to imbibe the military values and regimental spirit. Thank you.
124. हाय मॉर्निंग सर, मेरा नाम आशीष है, मैं TV9 से हूँ। मेरा क्वेश्चन एडमिरल हरि कुमार से है कि सर, ये शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन के लिए अग्निपथ स्कीम के अंडर में जब लोगों को डिप्लॉय किया जाएगा, स्पेसिफिकली चाहे वो शिप्स हो या फिर ऑफशोर यूनिट्स हो, तो वहाँ पर भी जो यूनिट्स ऑलरेडी डिप्लॉयड हैं, जो मेन एंड वुमेन डिप्लॉयड हैं, तो उन्हें उनके मोरल और उनके मोटिवेशन पे ये फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा कि मेरे साथ में जो है या फिर जो कुछ लोग हैं वो केवल कुछ महीने या कुछ साल के लिए हैं, तो उसके मैनेजमेंट के लिए क्या कुछ सोचा गया है स्पेसिफिकली शिप जैसे एक प्लेटफॉर्म के लिए?
देखिए, हमारी ओपिनियन में ये इट विल ओनली इम्पैक्ट पॉजिटिवली। एज सच नेवी में जो है ये पर्सनल जो शिप्स में जाते हैं, यूनिट्स में जाते हैं, उनको हर 2 साल या 3 साल में उनको रोटेट करते हैं। मतलब वो 2 साल एक शिप में है, फिर या दूसरे शिप में जाते हैं या एशोर आ जाते हैं। तो दिस अ मैंडेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट, ताकि उनको ब्रेक मिल जाता है फ्रॉम दी शिप टेन्योर। तो ये रोटेशन हर व्यक्ति का होता है। तो इसलिए दी यूनिट कोहेशन जो आप बात करते हैं, इट इज नॉट डिपेंडिंग अपॉन the longevity in a unit or the amount of time that is spent in a unit. It is more related to the type of training, the type of leadership, the type of challenges that you face together that leads to the bonding within the ship, and that is what translates into morale. So, as in the Navy, we have something called the divisional system. So, ये divisional system जो है, इसमें there is a team of about 11 personnel form a division, and in that it is headed by a divisional senior sailor and a divisional officer. So they look after them both professionally as well as personally. They know them well, and the interaction happens almost 24/7 whenever they are in their action post or when they are doing partnership work and so on. So this is a time-tested system, and which helps to bring in the new Agnivir into the ship and help him to integrate and assimilate well. So therefore we don't see any problem or any difficulty in inducting them into the combat platforms. Thank you.
63.
Sir, I am Shivani Sharma from Times Now Navbharat, and my question is for the Army Chief. There have been a lot of concerns, especially from the veterans, on the short span and the issues that might concern the attachment level. What are the other challenges that the scheme poses to the Army, and what is the roadmap or the strategy that you have planned to implement it?
Thank you for the question. To start with, I'll list out a few of the challenges that we visualize coming up as we move forward. Firstly, is the requirement to modify and refine our current recruitment process, essentially to expand the recruiting base. We also need to identify and select the right ITI qualified youth for induction into our technical trades. Optimizing the recruitment training period is another issue that we are currently examining. As I mentioned earlier, assimilation and integration of the Agnivirs into the system is an important aspect, and that is something which we are working at. Besides, there are some HR management issues like identifying the correct billets for the Agnivir, both within our organization and outside it, maybe on deputation. The skilling the Agnivirs and empowering them for enhancing their value and employability is another issue which we'll have to look at. Making our soldiers across the Army deployed pan-India, making them aware of the scheme and its benefits is something which we'll have to work on very deliberately. Now, what measures currently we are taking to mitigate these challenges is, of course, first and foremost, I must state that the senior leadership, we are convinced of the benefits of the scheme and are fully geared up to embrace this change. We are in the process of refining the recruitment process to make it fair, objective, based on a centralized database and automation. We are also in touch with the concerned ministry and the ITIs, and they have been requested to align their course curriculum, course content with what the Army's requirement for induction into technical trades is. We also have plans to upgrade our training infrastructure, especially in the regimental centers. An effective and time-bound outreach program and awareness program is something which we have come up with. And lastly, we are looking at all the above-mentioned aspects and consultations both within the Army as well as with outside agencies, and this is something which is currently underway. Thank you.
176.
सर, मैं कृष्णमोहन मिश्रा हूँ, जी न्यूज़ से। मेरा सवाल सेनाध्यक्ष के लिए है। भारत के दो पड़ोसी चीन और पाकिस्तान दोनों के साथ लंबा सीमा विवाद चल रहा है। घुसपैठ की कोशिशें होती हैं, झड़प होती हैं, युद्ध भी हो चुके हैं। यानी भारतीय सेना लगातार कार्रवाइयों में लगी हुई है। कार्रवाइयों में हमेशा अनुभवी सैनिक, सीजन सोल्जर, पुराना सिपाही की बात होती है। 4 साल बाद जब ये जो भी आएंगे रिक्रूट 4 साल बाद चले जाएंगे, तो ऐसी कार्रवाइयों में पुराने सैनिक की कमी अखरेगी नहीं क्या?
धन्यवाद। सबसे पहले मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि दोनों टेक्नोलॉजी के इस्तेमाल और हमारे ट्रेनिंग के तरीकों को में बदलाव लाने के पश्चात मेरा मानना है कि जो हमारे स्किल सेट्स या कैपेबिलिटीज़, इंडिविजुअल कैपेबिलिटी एक जवान के साथ होनी चाहिए, वही एक अग्निवीर के साथ भी होगी। और वो भी जो ऑपरेशनल चुनौतियाँ हैं जिसका जिक्र आपने किया है, उसका मैं मानता हूँ कि बड़ी सफलतापूर्वक सामना करने के लिए वो तत्पर रहेगा। आप जानते हैं सेना में हमारे ट्रेनिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स बड़े साफ तौर से तय किए जाते हैं और एक सिस्टम के ज़रिए इसको कंटिन्यूसली मॉनिटर और टेस्ट भी किया जाता है। तो इसके चलते मेरा मानना है कि जो प्रोफेशनल
ऊपर जाएंगे और नीचे जाएंगे।